Welcome to Spoofers, the podcast where we talk about random things.
Ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Spoofs Lounge. As you now know, I'm your host, Michael Colaluca, and today is a special day in the beer world. It's National IPA Day, and it is only fitting that I have the guy with the best brewery in Ellis County, Mr. Richard Womack. Richard, welcome to the show, man.
Welcome. Thank you. Welcome in.
Yeah, good stuff, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I did the National IPA Day at a brewery, having a beer. It's hard to beat.
I'm having a beer right now.
I'll beat that. I'll
beat it.
So we're, just do like a little quick deal. We're going to talk about a little bit of IPAs real quick, okay? Man, it seems that there's probably about as many different styles of IPAs as there are beers.
Yeah, it's a little overkill right now. It's us American craft brewers. We'd like to take things and then just sort of expand on it and just make it a little bit. Sometimes you got to look at it and say, okay, so where do you stop?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, you got just your traditional IPAs, which is a lot of people just think that's a West Coast style IPA.
Yeah.
Then the hazies come along, and then the double dry hop hazies come along, and now you got your Imperials. Now there's cold IPA. Yeah, it's just basically taking an IPA, and what else can we do with it?
Yeah. And now the guy went. I want to say whenever we were in Asheville. They have juicy IPAs.
Yeah, juicy IPAs. So basically, what happened is, so you had the IPA, and then America got a hold of it and turned it into the West Coast IPA. That's where the big boom of craft beer started.
Okay.
And when I say West Coast IPAs, we're talking about Lagunitas, Stone, Ballast Point, those IPAs that were originally, basically just hoppier beers.
Sure.
So then we actually have a hazy. We have a West Coast. The hazies took off, and that came from what was called a Boston juice bomb.
Okay.
So that took on a whole identity of itself, and things started to happen to where you had a juicy hazy, then you had, which included more juice.
Okay, more like fruit juice?
Yeah, the original IPAs got all of their flavor and aroma from the actual hops that were in the IPAs. You put more hops in it, you'd get heavier beer, and that turned into an IPA.
Okay.
Which is what the Germans were doing originally back a long time ago. They were taking their beer from Germany to India, and it basically was bad by the time it got to India. So they decided to add more hops, more malt, more ingredients for the beer to survive the trip. That's India Pale Ale, IPA. That's where the name came from. So now America gets a hold of it, and we're gonna throw some of them have lactose in them. Some of them have all kinds of fruit syrups in them and stuff like that. So now you have all these different variations from that. There's actually one called Both Coast. West Coast couldn't just have one, so East Coast had to have one.
I remember seeing some there. There was some guy in a fancy hat was trying to tell me the difference between the East Coast and a West Coast IPA, and I'm like,
yeah.
Well, I know it tastes different.
The East Coast are going to be more fruitier. The West Coast are going to be more piney.
Understood.
That's that traditional, and that's where that bitterness came from people that are turned off by craft beer. They're turned off by that over hoppy, piney, original West Coast style IPA that they got a hold of now almost 12 years ago.
Yeah, I want to say there's a lot of people that I know when I say, hey, we're going to go here, go to this brewery, and people are like, I do not like craft beer. And you go, how can I like craft beer? It tastes so good. Like, oh no, it tastes like I'm chewing into some pine flower.
Exactly. That's where that comes from.
And some people love it. Some people love that stuff. I love it.
I'm an IPA guy.
I do love a good IPA. I just can't do when there's so many hops thrown in my face. I can't do nothing but smell it. Some people love it though. The Imperial IPAs, people, they love that stuff.
I like a good Imperial IPA that's balanced, but some of the current IPAs that are out there, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And some of these hazies that are out there, they're day one dry hop, they're double dry hop, they're triple dry hop, and all you're going to get is a lot more, well, it depends on the hop they put in there. It's either going to be really, really fruity, or it's going to be really, really piney, earthy,
Okay.
citrusy. And then you actually will lose color of the beer. It's just hazy. It's just, you can't even see through it.
But there was probably the name, Hazy IPA, right? Okay.
Yep.
And so whenever they come to your brewery and they see the IBUs,
Yes.
that IBUs is pretty much a direct hit of how much hops are in your beer.
That's bitterness,
Or
because
bitterness.
yes, that's bitterness. Hops add and are the main ingredient for the bitterness of the beer, but bitterness also comes from the malt too, depending on what specialty malts you use and stuff like that. So basically, IBUs is an International Bitterness Unit, and it tells you on a range how bitter the beer is.
Okay.
IPAs tend to have more bitterness because there's more hops added to them. So what you'll find when you come to Railport is you're going to find lower IBUs even on our IPAs, because we want our IPAs to be drinkable. We don't want them to be a turnoff.
Okay.
You're going to get a nice aroma on the nose, and you're going to drink it, and it's going to have a nice smooth finish.
Yeah.
You're going to have that chewing on bark
Right.
finish, So we dialed down. Then the way you do that in the brewing process, if you put the hops in right when you start the boil at 60 minutes or 90 minutes for most IPAs, the longer the hops sit in the beer, the more bitter they're going to be.
Okay.
The less time it actually grabs the flavor and aroma of the hop. So most of our hops are put in at the end of the boil or whirlpool when the flames are out.
To kind of just get the flavor.
That flavor and aroma and stuff like that out of them. So yeah.
Not just have it where it just hits you in the face. And
right.
Because I'll say, like, I love the juicy IPA.
Yeah.
And probably my favorite one here is the August Haze.
That's our hazy IPA, and that is based on a traditional Boston juice bomb.
Okay.
I've had versions of that where I went a little crazy with maybe it was a little more wheat malt, because the wheat malt, the rolled oats, the flakes and stuff like that add to the haziness. And then I've gone overboard and add just way too much hops, either at boil or during the boil.
Okay.
But we dialed it back like we do a lot of stuff to where it's more drinkable. I basically look at people coming in and customers and stuff like that. I want first to enjoy the beer, and I want them to buy more than one. So
Sure.
a lot of this stuff that's out there right now, you hear people, man, yeah, I had that. Or, well, how many do you have? I have one. That's all I could take. I went right back to my whatever light beer that they had. Yes. So, but no, we get people in here and they come in here and they'll drink several IPAs.
Oh,
At a time. Yeah. One setting. Yeah.
It's easy to do.
It is. It's
the
drinkability.
Yes, the drinkability, and then whenever it's warm out here, it seems just like an IPA just hits the spot on it. Middle of summer and it's evening time, and then you get an IPA. Before you realize it, you're about 3 or 4 August Hazes deep, and you're wondering what happened.
We opened up, and that was the stigma, was all craft beer is IPA. So we only just had the one IPA. And then we started, getting more customers, and we started getting more groups of customers come in. The bicyclists come here and meet on Thursdays. They go out and they ride 20 miles, around the lake and stuff like that, come back. The first thing they go to are the IPAs.
I remember that.
They drink the heck out of those IPAs. So anytime we have an event for them, we try to have 1 or 2 IPAs on tap. So because we
have it loaded up.
Yeah, because it's just something that your body craves that after some physical activity.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I will say that I will go for an IPA, especially a summer super physical day. I will grab an IPA before I'm going to grab a stout in the summertime.
Yeah.
Even though I love the stout, but the IPA, you're just like, man, this is.
Yeah, the IPAs have their place, and the stouts have their place, but fall, winter.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the summer. They still have people that come in and they will order. They'll order a stout in the middle of summer.
Oh, I still will. All right, especially whenever you got the blonde stout, the some bitch. I'll drink that in the middle of the summer. It won't bother you one bit.
It doesn't have all that roastiness on it, which I think people that's a turnoff in the summer. It's because it's not coffee. It's not morning.
That is very true.
But the some bitch, yeah, we take all those roasty malts out of that. That way it gives it that blonde color.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess with you being a a brewer, you can pretty much, you've done figured out kind of what your favorite IPA is just by saying, hey, I like it having more malt, or I want to have more hops, or I want to have, more, any ingredient that you could throw into it. You can just say, hey, I want to try with a bunch of orange. I want to try with a bunch of this. And you go, okay, well, this don't work. This is better. I like it.
And we like getting like I said earlier, we like getting a lot of our flavor from the actual ingredients and not have to do extracts or anything in the back end of the beer or the dry hop or anything like that. So
Sure.
we do, we use Citra hops that gives us that Citra flavor. We use Cascade that has a little Citra, but it also has a little bit of a earthiness to it. We use some hops that are floral.
Yeah.
So it gives it a floral aspect. So yeah, so when we started out, we had the one IPA, and now I have 6 recipes working on number 7. So
Wow.
at here soon we could possibly have 7 IPAs on tap.
That's a lot of IPA.
It's a lot of IPAs.
I mean, heck, keep this up. It might turn into a hipster bar or something, So they would tell that they're IPA and a cat, But yeah, I will say that, just not even talking about the IPA, but almost every beer here, it's incredibly drinkable. Not until you get into your winter and you have your bourbon barrel beers. They're not super high on, super high on alcohol content. So you can have a few more compared to if you go to the gas station and buy you a New Belgian Voodoo Ranger.
Yeah.
At 9%. Well, you have 3 of those, you're having a rough morning.
Yeah.
Day.
Oh yeah.
So
Yep.
even, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're great beers, but you're going to have a worse time in the morning.
Yeah. Get a hold of a Dream Crusher.
Oh, yes. Yes. I remember whenever the DFW scene was first kicking off, and you had Deep Ellum Brew, and that was it. And they
Bellum IPA and their Dream Crusher, man. I love Dream Crusher.
Oh, the Dream Crusher was very
It's so good. The red IPA, yeah.
The regular IPA, it was so good.
It was good. That was one of your traditional West Coast style IPAs.
Yeah.
Was Deep Ellum IPA, yeah.
Yeah, and it was, when I remember when they first opened, that was the beer. And they go, we had the Deep Ellum IPA. And we'd go there on Thursday, and that was the only beer on tap.
Yeah.
And you're going, well, I guess I'll have that beer.
And I'll take that one. Might be some marketing to that.
Right.
Hey, just put this out there. They'll drink it.
And they did. Unfortunately, it's sad to see that brewery closed up, but
yeah,
I guess who's ever making their beer still, they're still making, I don't think they're making the Dream Crusher anymore. I haven't seen any of that.
I haven't seen I haven't seen Dream Crusher. Now I think you only see Deep Ellum IPA and Dallas Blonde.
I want to say
That's about it. No, I haven't seen anything else.
And at our house, the only thing it seems that we have to end going to breweries for so long now is that we only have brewery glasses.
Yeah.
And we were eating dinner before we came here, and I'll drink out of a Nito Bandito glass. I'm like, this is neat,
Nice.
I was like, all right, So, past, several years now, Railport has pretty much became the brewery in Ellis County. This celebrated your 7th year anniversary.
7 years, yeah.
That's
7 years.
That's awesome, The building has changed tremendously since it started.
Yeah. We had the opportunity 3 years ago. Just basically, it seems like every year around that anniversary, there's something going on. And, people don't necessarily know about it. So on our 4th anniversary, that weekend, we were pretty much closing on this building. Wow. In the middle of that entire celebration and stuff, we were going to close on this building that next Monday.
Okay.
And there was a lot of stuff going on. There was actually still a person interested in the building.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy.
Wow.
And we figured out later it was just BS. But for us going through that whole weekend,
I bet you that was tough.
Hold on, well, who are they? So so now we've had the building for 3 years.
Okay.
So our 7th now every anniversary, which is always at the end of May, is now an anniversary for not only Railport but Railport Holdings, the building owner.
That is cool.
So we celebrate 2 anniversaries now.
That is
that same weekend every year.
That is awesome.
So yeah, it's
and how much more than a brewery now? You got a barber.
You got a barber. The first thing we did, so we took the last 2 years. Really, we're still going 3 years on renovation. So Everybody will remember when they first came to Railport, it was just the tap room, the brewery, and the backyard. And we slowly expanded, leased out a few more spots. And then once we were able to purchase the building, then it was on. We brought in a cigar lounge. We brought in a bicycle shop. We brought in a barber shop. At one time, we had a boutique above the tap room. And these things just, we just brought in stuff that sort of was cool and had a vibe with the brewery.
Okay.
So, yeah. And that's what you see changing. Some additional space we took and we turned into indoor seating. We didn't have that for 5 years.
Okay. And that's actually pretty wild, just going from where it was to where it's at now. And I'm sure everyone that's been going there for years has some kind of story that they can talk about like that,
Absolutely.
So then also the building has changed tremendously. You got, okay, so you're celebrating 2 anniversaries. So, man, whenever I was telling some people I had the privilege of getting you on the show, almost every person was wanting to know is like, how did Richard, the Womacks, go from having, a regular 9-to-5 job,
Yeah.
home brewing, to where he's at now?
Phase it in. That's not only what we did, but that's a recommendation.
But slowly phase it in.
Phase it in. So, started at home brewing, got the kids out of high school, got them off to college, started home brewing. First batch was terrible. Didn't brew for 8 months. It was so bad. It was just terrible. I'm like, man, I'm never doing this again. I'll just drink it.
Okay.
Then one day I was just like, you know what? Let me try that one more time. Something wasn't right about it, and I realized it wasn't a way you should start home brewing.
Okay.
So I went back in there, and then things just started getting better. People started to enjoy it a little bit more. And at the same time, I was doing some independent contracting. The previous life, it was basically, building computer networks for
Okay.
businesses. Had a lot of municipality accounts and stuff like that with either police stations or libraries, stuff like that. Market crashed in 2009. You have to let like 7 people go overnight. So then it was just basically, I was just an independent contractor after that for a good 5 or 6 years, and was doing the home brewing stuff. And it was like, you know what? The initial thought was, do I bring Greenlight back? Greenlight Solutions was a company. So do I bring it back? Technology at that time had changed so much. It'd gone from a server base to a cloud base
Sure.
type stuff. And I was just like, you know what? Let me look into something. I love homebrewing, love craft beer, and love what I'm doing at the house and stuff like that. Let's see what we want to do. And of course, I had to get approval.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
you get approval from the boss.
It's another recommendation. Yeah, approval.
Yes.
So I wasn't just going to be a home brewer and go into opening a brewery. So found out that Eastfield College out in Mesquite had one of 3 home brewing schools.
Okay.
Actually had, it was a full semester. So basically went back to college
Sure.
and took that course, and it was designed, it was every day of the week. I still had my contract customers that I was taking care of them, from my laptop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And went back to school for a semester, interned at 10 local breweries. It was the Journeyman Brewer Program out of Eastville College. And said, if we're going to do this, we can't just open this up as a home brewer.
You got
We
to
have
really
to
do
really
it.
know. So luckily the instructor, his name was Peter, German maltster. So couldn't understand him a lot of times, but he had these what he called scripts. And so it was, English on the paper. That's not what's coming out of his mouth. But hey, you got the paper in front, you keep up and he also at the time was designing Allstott, which is
really?
down in Fredericksburg.
Okay.
So when you go to Allstott down in Fredericksburg, that production brewing side of that facility was designed by Peter.
Oh, that is cool.
That's who we learned from. And there was like 30 of us in the class. I was the oldest.
Okay. By a little bit, right?
Yeah. Actually, there was a guy that sit 2 tables up from me, and he stands up and he's like, "Yeah, man, my name's so and so, and I'm probably the oldest one in here." And I just let it settle. And then when it came to my turn, because I always sat at the back of the class, it came back. I was like, "Nah, sorry, dude. Yeah, I'm the oldest." But yeah, so I just had to make that decision. Even when I was going to brewer school, I was still on the fence. Like, what do I really want to do? I mean, I bought a new truck, to have all my equipment in and stuff, to build beta networks and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and had all this going on. And it was just like, it was one of those light bulb moments where it's just like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do that.
That's a big commitment. I mean,
And
for
then-
anybody to make a jump like that, that's commitment.
And then knowing that, we first tried, we live in Midlothian. So we tried to do it in Midlothian. And at the time, a totally different city council than what it is right now. They wanted us, but they wanted us in the county, not in the city
Okay.
limits. So then we find out, okay, Precinct 4 of Ellis County is the only dry county, or only dry precinct in the county. So they were like, "Oh, it's going to go for a vote. You'll have to wait about 8 months." I'm like, "We can't." So we've already started this.
Yeah, the ball's rolled.
This thing is going. We've already started this. So a random email that Shannon got, my wife Shannon just gets a random email from someone she's never heard from. Says, "Hey, there's a property over here. If you're interested in it, blah, blah, blah." So we come over and look at it, and we have pictures. It's bad. It's run
Really?
down. It is bad.
Okay.
But I look at it, I'm like, this looks like something that would be so damn cool if we can clean it up, get in here, start brewing beer.
Sure.
So, so then we just started doing some research, and we found out that we were going to be the first brewery ever in Ellis County.
That's cool.
So we are the first brewery ever in Ellis County, and we're still a brewery. We're a manufacturing brewery. We're not a brew pub. We're not a restaurant. We're not anything like that.
Right. Yeah. There's no food or no.
No, that's why we have the food trucks and stuff. So, and back when we were doing all of this, the 2010 to 2020, and that whole 10 years, that's when craft beer really started to gain momentum. And they were all breweries. They didn't have restaurants.
Right.
A lot of them have now changed over to brew pubs. And even when Deep Ellum, before they closed, they were really a restaurant.
They were.
Aspects, because you go in there, they had food and stuff like that.
Yes.
And that does come down to the city. And some cities they have ordinances where, you have to be 51% food and not 51% alcohol. Waxahachie is one of those. But we are 51% alcohol because we don't have food.
Correct.
So, yeah. So we love having that red 51%.
So I hear you.
But, so there was that slow transition. It's like, okay, but interning at those 10 breweries, and I mean, you're talking, I interned at Martin House, Texas Ale Project, Humperdinck's at the time when they were open,
Okay.
Oak Highlands, Lakewood, Community. And basically what I got from that was, you got to make it your own. You can't just go in here. You got to sort of pick your avenue of beer that you want to go down. Do you want to be more traditional, which is what we are? Do we want to be the one-offs, or where, the reason I don't like the one-off terminology is you're rotating beers more often, and they may only be one time you see that beer.
Yeah.
I don't like that, because I may have customers that come in that like that beer. We struggle right now trying to keep like some bitch.
Oh yeah.
It's stuff like that, but they're not one-offs. They're rotating beers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So-
Seasonal beer.
So that's the stuff that I learned. I learned the technique of brewing, and some of the special intricacies of the grain, how it interacts with the water, and all this stuff like that, all the technical stuff from the class. But I learned the overall brewery production, in the brewery look and feel, the tap room, the vibe, all that stuff. And I'm going to all 10 of those and interning at those 10 breweries, because they were all different. They all had their own little niche it's in, like. Yeah, so took the classroom in, finally made the decision, and boom, that first year we were only open on Saturdays. It helped me because I still had a couple of customers that I had under contract.
Okay.
But by the end of that first year, I was 100% Railport.
Okay. I think it used to be open a little bit on Fridays as well, right?
Yeah,
Friday afternoon.
by the end of that year, we opened up on Fridays. And then the next year, we opened up on Thursdays around March Madness. We sort of looked at things that were happening on the calendar with like sports or something like that.
Okay.
We said, oh, okay, that might be a good time to start opening on Thursdays. It's March Madness, boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
And then by the end of that second year is when Shannon was able to leave the home building, her home building career that she had. And then so by year 2, we're 100% Railport.
That's awesome.
There's no other income coming from anything else. We
Both
don't have part-time jobs. We don't do this, all this.
That's cool. I mean, you gotta really think like, hey, this is it, like, and you went to school, you did all this stuff, and you're in it,
Yeah, we're like,
there's no,
we're in it.
that's and you kept it pretty much all family oriented.
Yeah.
You got Shannon, Jacoby.
Yeah. Jacoby's brewing with us. He got out of the Navy and came back home, and he's brewing and pretty much the head brewer, so to speak.
Yeah.
I still get up in the mornings and start the brew, but he finishes the day and stuff. And
Okay.
we transition him over, and he'll get into a mode to where he's brewing most of it. So
Okay.
yeah, and we have other employees, and Josh is with us. He's our cellarman, so he does all the dirty work, stuff. And,
Yes.
the packaging and the dirty work, and and then we have the ladies in the tap room that come in and
Serve you.
we
You're
got a good
fine.
team. Yeah, we got a good team.
Yeah.
We've always had a good team. People will come and go. That's sure part of the business, but we've always had a good team. We feel like we've always treated them fair, and we're not micromanagers or anything like that.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. We're just slinging beer. You're just opening up a tap and
Yeah.
filling a glass and sort of smiling, and
Yeah.
it's a laid back atmosphere. We don't wait on tables, but we do go and clean them off from time to time and say hi and stuff like that. And
But you don't have the staff to go wait table.
yeah, and we kind of like people coming to the bar. We get to interact with them there. And sometimes when you're drinking some heavy beers, you need to get up and walk a little bit, maybe get some water,
Yes.
use the restroom, and
Being the first brewery in Ellis County, these people that haven't had a lot of crap beer before, they're not drinking.
a lot of education. Yeah, a lot of education. We actually keep an eye out on people that come in, and we can tell the first timers, and they'll come up, and we always recommend Honey Hush because that's our number one seller. And if they take that Honey Hush and they walk away and they're back in 5 or 10 minutes, we're like, okay, slow down.
Yeah, but brother, you might want to pump the brakes.
This is not your light beer. You're not kicking back 12 of these tonight.
It's the sipper, brother.
Yeah.
Think of good whiskey, but instead of
Take your time to get 3 to 4 in.
Yeah. Yeah. Breathe.
Yeah, breathe. Yeah, exactly.
So, Honey Hush being the flagship beer, is that like the beer that you started? Was that like Richard's first beer that he like hit off with? That was like
That was
the best beer, or
That was the first beer was Boxcar 17. That recipe came in 2017. That was the one I messed with just all the time. It's a wheat beer because I wanted a Hefeweizen. I liked Hefeweizens at the time. And then it was Caboose hop because I liked IPAs. Honey Hush, we call it the beer of Ellis County. We call all of our beer the beer of Ellis County because we were the first.
sure.
But that one really was created by people that came to sample events. We were not open for 2 years as we were trying to get our license. So we were doing a lot of sample events just to get the word out. Hey, there's a brewery coming.
Okay.
We went to wine walks. We went anywhere we could handing out free beer. And at one point I was like, you know what? Let's make something that the people like. They voted on. They feel like they're part of it. So the whole thought was, I'm going to take 4 beers to this sample event. Everything's going to be the same except for the hop. I'm going to have 4 different hops.
Okay.
Everything's the same except for 4 different hops. And we had printed cards, and they'd get a card. There'd be 4 samples, and they'd tell us which one they like, 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'd go back and say, oh my God, they all like this Cascade hop. They all like number 3. So then the next time, which was about a month later, we got to a point where we started like posting this and saying, okay, here's the next sample event.
Okay.
Or maybe it's such and such. We were at antique stores. We were in boutiques. We were all over the place between Waxahachie and Midlothian. We were everywhere. We were at festivals. So I'd go back the next month and all 4 beers would have the same hop. It had that Cascade hop.
Uh-huh.
But then I started experimenting with different honeys, different other ingredients, different malts,
Sure.
whether it was a Pilsner malt or a pale malt. So over about a 4 to maybe I want to say about a 5-month time period, we came up with Honey Hush. That recipe was through all of that sampling. That's how that beer was created.
Straight up R&D.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I always thought that, it being your flagship beer, that, hey, you've been making it beer forever. No, it's actually R&D process.
It was there was a blonde ale that I had. It was just it was something from Northern Brewer. It was out of a kit. And I had it and I was just like, well, what is this? And then one of the big things was, hey, Burbison's honey is right here in Waxahachie. Because I would try,
yeah.
I was using different honeys and I was learning the process. I was like, oh shit, this honey was going to change every season. As the pollination and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I'm like, hold on a second. And then I talked with Tim, the owner of Burleson. He's like, hey, let me show you our process. Their honey is blended. It never changes. And I'm like, that's the honey I got to use. It never changes. So that's what we did with Honey Hush. That's why it uses the Texas wildfire honey from Burbison's.
That is cool.
We went into an agreement to do that with them. So you'll see their logo on Honey Hush. And it's sort of like a co-branding thing.
I
day
want to see that. Yeah, that is too cool.
We did that day one. And once he showed me the lab and I started to understand that whole process, like, man, this is not going to change. This beer is going to stay the same. People that have fallen in love with it, they're going to stay in love with it because it's
the same beer.
Same beer. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because there is beers that they will change throughout time. Even if you probably would use the same ingredients, sometimes you get a beer and you're like,
hop
tastes it.
So hops, there's different harvests. There's different crop years.
Oh, okay.
So there's some things that are just out of your control.
Sure.
We had a scare back when whenever Ukraine and all that whole scare when the Houston ship channel was basically just locked up. We didn't think we were going to get our grain from Germany.
Okay.
And we were thinking about having to use different grain, and that would have changed some of the beers.
For sure.
Luckily, it took some time. It took about a month, but we were able to just sort of ration out what we were doing. We focused on Honey Hush, and for a time there, we probably had 4 beers on tap. Maybe they didn't notice or anything, but there was a time period that first 2 or 3 months that we were like, man, we know we have to get Honey Hush out. That's going to take that particular grain. We can experiment with these other beers. I think we actually came up with a new beer in that time frame because I got some grain and I'm like, I don't like the smell of it. It doesn't smell like that other bag.
Sure.
Sure. This is not being used on Honey Hush.
That's the one beer you got to keep the same. That's everyone's go-to.
So that's all just part of how you have to look at it, the decisions you have to make, and some of it's out of your control though, man. We've received some hops that were supposed to be Citra hops or something like that, and you just look at them and smell them and take a little bite out of them and just say, man, I don't know about this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah. I can understand that. That's almost with everything.
Yeah.
That's cool though, man. I'm so like jealous, and you're keeping the American dream alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally like, hey, we started and we're here now.
We're here now. We've had some struggles. Everybody goes through the struggles and stuff like that, but our customers are they're second to none.
They're very loyal.
They're very loyal. And I think that's because we just sort of kept things the same. And we make the changes but the changes are improving, so to speak.
Yeah.
Bring in the indoor seating and stuff like that. And they just, hopefully it's making people feel even more comfortable.
Sure.
So, yeah.
I'll say besides the outdoors, awesome. When it gets 100 plus degrees, it gets a little
unbearable,
but
it's ridiculous.
I will say in the evening time, the sun goes down, gets behind the trees.
Yeah.
It's that I enjoy it. I mean, it might even still be upper 90s, but at least you're just not dying in the sun.
Like, we get there a little bit of breeze once the sun goes down.
Oh yeah.
It is just the tree line is there.
Yeah, like that sun goes down. There's no reason to be bashful about sitting outside there. It's all right. It's good stuff. So, kind of looking back on supply chain stuff. So, COVID, man, that was a fun time for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember the brewery was closed because you could come in and get a beer, but it was all beer to go.
It's all beer to go. And luckily, the September before, so the September of 2019, TAVC and the state allowed breweries to sell beer out the door, beer to go.
Yes.
So, and then, 5 months later, COVID happens. So, as a manufacturing brewery, that's why we loved it being a manufacturing brewery. If you remember that first phase of COVID where everything was shut down, only manufacturers were open.
Yes.
Well, we were a manufacturer.
Essential workers only.
Yeah, we were open. We were essential.
Yes.
Now, restaurants could be open, but they had to do food, and if you wanted alcohol, it had to be with food. Remember that?
Yes.
That sort of has benefited them now because now before that, restaurants couldn't do that. They couldn't do their alcohol to go. I call it alcohol to go because you can do margaritas. I mean, there's restaurants doing all kinds of stuff.
You can I remember getting a gallon margarita.
A gallon of margarita, yes, yeah. So, but for us, all we had to do was open Tuesday through Saturday. Before, we were only open, I think at that time, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yes. Yes.
So we opened Tuesday. We were open Tuesday through Saturday, and we literally stood at the overhead door out front. We had to put an orange gate up, and we served beer by the growler.
I remember
It was crazy. We had, and at the time, we could always sell 4 growlers per person per day.
Yeah.
So we had couples coming up, husband and wife, friends, and each of them had 4 growlers. So what was so interesting about that time was we didn't lose one beat in production.
Okay.
If anything, we had to brew a little more beer
Because everyone was coming by to get beer.
because they were coming by to get beer, and they were coming by on Tuesday. I mean, we would open up that overhead, and there's 4 cars in the parking lot, and their trunks are open,
Wow.
and they're getting the growlers out. And then guess what? By Friday or Saturday, they're back refilling them for the weekend.
I was there. I was one of them. We didn't do so. What we would do is we would get, Robin and I would have a growler each,
Uh-huh.
fill it up on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
But we're already back on Thursday to get it.
Yeah.
Because we done normally we done already drank it that Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because we were out playing cornhole in the front yard. Because there was nothing else. I mean, there's nothing else we could do. There was nothing. I mean, you could only mow the grass so many times.
You couldn't do anything. Yeah.
And
And there was only so much takeout you could get also. I mean,
yes, but at the same time, you were almost scared to cook at your house because if you needed paper towels to clean, there was no paper towels.
because you couldn't get them.
No. So
Unless you want to get up at like 5 a.m. or something. No, that was held over for a certain age group, I think.
I believe, yeah,
After that, they were like H-E-B was opening up or Walmart at a certain time for a certain age group.
yes, the old timers get there really early in the morning
Yeah.
and beat the normies.
Yes. Yeah.
And also remember you had to be at the grocery store, and I remember being at H-E-B, and they were like, okay, we got 2 lines. If you want paper items, you have to be in this line, but if you want meat, you have to be in this line.
Yeah.
And then they opened the doors, and it was just chaos. It was
Chaos.
I remember having to take off work just to go to the grocery store. It was the dumbest thing ever.
I mean, it was nuts. That was a crazy time. Then we learned that, you know what? We're filling growlers. That takes time. So then I don't know if you remember, we had tables in the parking lot.
Yes.
So people could have a drink. They'd have one while they're waiting to get their growlers.
Yep.
It was like what? It was me, Shannon, Rachel, David, Blake, Sarah and Carlos. Remember, they were at our backyard. So
The deep restaurant.
yes, they didn't at the time. They only had Fresh. Fresh was shut down. So we opened up the taco truck. Nobody could go back there. But then we got the refrigerators, and they were doing family dinners.
I
We were
remember
doing the tacos and stuff like that to go and stuff like that. So we just improvised and
Yeah, you had to. Yeah.
Yep.
What were you gonna do? I mean, you had to do something.
Yeah.
But where you were, if I remember correctly, you were got held up on the supply chain with all the trying to do canning because you couldn't get cans, correct?
Yeah. So that was. So my original plan was open up as a brewery, do kegs, distribute kegs only, and I would think about cans 5 years down the road.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we're 2 years into it and COVID happens. So it was like, okay, let me experiment with some cans. And that was great. That actually helped out some. It was quicker to get cans out the door than it was to fill the growlers. So that was cool.
Sure.
But once COVID was over, then that's when the supply chain issues started to happen for a lot of things. Cans, because of aluminum, hops, because there was a bad, during that whole thing, there was a bad harvest for some of the crops.
Okay.
So in the crops you could get that were good, instead of paying $9 a pound, you were paying $34 a pound.
Oh, man.
You know, stuff like that. But the cans were just like, overnight, they just went away.
That's wild.
It was crazy. What we found out was a lot of those manufacturing plants switched their machinery and their operations over to service stuff like the mask and all this stuff that the medical industry needed.
Okay.
They just basically, I guess, retrofitted their equipment and just started popping out the stuff that was needed. And because really at the time, a lot of the stores were not open. So, your volume on cans, I guess, went way down.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that.
But yeah. And it's still, the can thing is an issue. It's just the 12-ounce cans compared to 16-ounce cans. Labels, just the whole packaging side of it is for lack of better terms, it's hit or miss.
I understand.
It's just
Yeah. And I've seen your setup, and it's a really neat setup. And gosh, it was years ago, obviously, but I remember being at the Bellum Brewery, and I was looking at their canning stuff at the time.
Yeah.
And it was the size of this whole building.
Oh,
it was
Massive.
insane. Oh, yeah.
When I interned at Wild Acre, that day I had the privilege of working on their canning line, and yeah, it's massive, but the amount of waste.
Oh, I can only
I
imagine.
mean, yeah, you know how it is when a machine starts to mess up.
There it goes.
There it goes.
That is it's
We're talking about a machine that takes it on a palletizer, puts through there, sanitizes it, puts it in there, spins it around, fills it, seams it, goes around this. My whole job was to make sure it didn't fall off of the bend when it turned,
okay.
because it goes so fast that they just shoot out. So you just sort of have to have your hand up there, just ready. And then it goes around the corner and it goes into where it boxes it up and where it pack techs it and all this stuff like that. It dates it. It goes through this little thing that if the computer thinks that it's a low fill on its little laser and stuff like that, it shoots it off to the side. And at the end of the day, you have these 55-gallon drums just full of waste.
Wow.
And it's just like, man. Now, the volume's so high that, they still have like 5 or 6 pallets of beer in cans.
Yeah.
And it's going out the door and it's going to the,
So there's
distributing it to whatever, retail store and stuff like that. It's massive.
So you just chalk it up just as waste and down to
It's cost of doing business.
well, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm over here, we're doing single cans at a time, or, when we do have our canning system up and running and it's working good, we have these little trays and I'm like, I got to pour this out. And it's, I want to cry. It's like, I'm pouring this out. But then just compared to that, I mean, the trash can's full of stuff. It's just
Totally.
amazing.
It's wild how massive operation stuff compared to
Yeah.
you're filling it with love, and they're just like down the assembly line it goes, brother. Yeah.
We got to go. We got to pump out more. Let's go.
Yeah. So whenever you go get a can here at Railport, just know that Richard poured his heart and soul into that one.
We all did. Josh, all of us did. One of us either labeled it, one filled it, one seamed it, one, grabbed the keg and brought it to the front to,
That's
Yeah.
that's made with love right there, brother.
one at a time.
Correct. So do you ever have any plans of maybe boosting it and getting into places like Specs or HEB or anything like that, or is it pretty much we're just going to do it for patrons coming into the front door?
Right now, it's going to be beer to go. We did a run of part of the hard times that we had a little over a year ago was learning that we had our head down and we were going and this was cool and we're in this restaurant and we're in that restaurant and we're in this liquor store and we're down to Hillsborough, we're up to Bedford, we're all over this and we're doing this stuff, and then you start looking at like we're losing money, that our margin is going away, and the amount of volume just in the kegs that we lost the first 6 months of last year was just right around, it's just under $30,000.
Oh, that'll hurt your feelings.
So to be competitive in this industry, a lot of restaurants want half barrels,
Okay.
15 and a half gallons. Well, to be competitive, you're selling that 15 and a half gallons at around $200. Well, you're selling a slim keg that's 5 gallons. So 3 slims equal a standard keg, that 15 and a half gallons,
Okay.
a half barrel. So you're selling those slims at $100 a piece.
I'll try to sell the slims.
So at the end of the day, you're losing a slim. You're losing roughly around $100, depending on what beer it is, and.
Sure.
So at one time we had just in Ellis County, we had 7 restaurants, all half barrels, moving those half barrels every week to 10 days.
Oh, man.
So, and that was the thing. That was part of our problem is we had our head down. We're moving stuff. We're feeling good. It's like, man, this. And you started saying, okay, hold on. Something's wrong here. At the same time, we're doing renovation on the building and all this stuff. So you have to make that decision. It's like, okay, what are we doing on this canning side too? Are we even making money over there? And some months you would, if you can get the cans at a good cost, because the can is just not, it's the can, it's the lid, it's the label, it's the box, the carrier box, and then it's the pack tech. And then, oh yeah, that little date thing on there. All of that comes into that cost
Okay. Yeah.
of canning.
Sure. Absolutely. Not counting the beer.
Yeah, not counting the beer, So there's all, and that goes into the labor and everything like that. So you're just like, man, okay, so we're losing this on this side. We're not really losing money on the canning side, but we're not making money. It's just like maybe a 1% margin.
Almost a wash.
Just, yeah. So that's cool that, hey, we're at Bear Creek Beverage here, or we're over here. Sometimes it would move, sometimes it wouldn't. It all depended on if someone was having a party or something.
Sure.
And all of a sudden you get that phone call, can you have another case? So then what was happening with the cans was we were pulling cases out of our on-site inventory, and we sell that at a different cost, to be competitive than if we sold it on site.
Okay.
It's beer to go. So we're basically at that point when that was happening, we were losing almost 20%.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So it happened so quick, so fast, but it was over a period of time because we were going with it.
Yeah.
We were just working. We're out there. We're getting the word out. We're doing this whole thing. We're building.
Doing like what you think you should be doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now we just cut everything back. We only distribute slims. We do not do anything packaging with cans or anything like that. So, and now we're very close to raising the same amount of volume that we went out those first 6 months of 2024. We're just really close to duplicating that volume, but now we're getting paid for every ounce of beer
That's awesome.
that we sell. So, and that should flip. It should flip a little bit. Maybe we won't be gaining $30,000 or something like that, but we're gaining now.
Sure.
It's going to be more in that $20,000 range because other costs have gone up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been.
But ever since COVID, everything's gone through the roof.
Yeah. So those are just the things you learn, and some days you wake up and you're like, oh shit, like damn, okay, hold on a second.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah,
That's hey, I mean that's awesome. You have to get paid for what you're doing. I mean, even though it's a job you love, but man, you got to get paid for what.
Yeah, we have a payroll. The first thing is to take care of the employees. There's weeks where it's just like, okay, just take me off the payroll this week.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I understand that. So, I mean, everyone who's been up here, I don't care what day you've really been here. You're the guy pretty much walking around with the rubber boots, swim trunks on. You're working hard, you're getting it. So, man, what does a day of the brewer look like?
Oh man. Okay.
I'm sure it starts super early and ends late.
Yeah. With the old system, the day of the life of a brewer looks better now with the new system. But with the old system, it was a 4:30 wake up, get over here, make sure that timer starts at 6. That first timer, we work on timers. Everything's timed between 30 minutes to an hour. You're basically cooking.
Yeah.
So that would be earlier in the summer because it does get about 100, 118 degrees in the brewery.
Man, that's toasty.
So you get earlier so you don't hit that 2, 3 o'clock afternoon heat. So, but it can come down to a lot of things. It's the focus is to brew, get the brew done, get it knocked out, put it in the tank. That way it could sit there for a week or two, ferment, and produce good beer. But that one day could include a couple phone calls. I've walked up to the brewery 2 times now and got a note on the door and the water's shut off.
Oh, no.
I'm not paying it. It's because of something down the street.
Sure.
And it's like, hey, you're supposed to notify me of this. This note was not on the door,
Yeah, when I let,
or 2 days ago. It was supposed to give me a 2-day. But gas has been turned off because of something down the street.
because the city hall was doing all those renovations.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's happened. So that changes the day in the life of a brewer.
Oh, for sure.
There's a phone call, there's this, there's that, there's salespeople that come up to the door, hey man, I can sell you this better than that person, all that stuff. There's equipment issues that right in the middle of it, it's, that pump went out. Okay. Well, it's mounted in the system, but we keep a spare pump.
Okay.
We've learned to keep a spare of everything.
Absolutely. Hey, production everything.
Yeah. Electricity goes out,
Yeah. Brewing that to death. Yeah.
Yeah, that's happened several times on us.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, but when everything goes right, it's, you're brewing, you put the phone down. It's actually like a happy place.
Right. You gotta have the music blaring and getting it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You got the music going and you're just like, okay, this is cool. You're watching your timer, you're doing stuff. You could smell the beer, it's doing right. You get to certain points of it. The knockout is the funnest. That's the knockout process is when you're taking it from the boiler, the brew system into a fermenter.
Okay.
And so, it's that little challenge of getting it from 210 degrees down to 74 degrees, this and that. But it's also where, you're putting some good beer into a fermenter and it's almost like a celebration. We always have a beer at that time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our first beer is usually at 2 p.m.
Okay.
On later days, it's 3 or 4 and it's a celebration of, hey man, good brew. Day went okay.
The beer. Yeah.
Have a beer.
Yeah.
When you lose power or something like that, maybe you're drinking at 11 a.m. You're like, this is messed up, man. This is, it's like, damn.
So how much beer could like this normally, like, how you even talk about the old system, how much beer could you make in a day?
We can make 300 gallons in a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a double brew day. So we have a 5-barrel system, so that's 150 gallons.
Okay.
On that. So yeah. Yeah, we stretch it. We hit about 170.
Okay.
So we push it about 10 gallons, 20 gallons. It just depends on the beer.
Sure.
If we turn around. So on the old system, a double brew day would be wake up at 4, get over here, get the first timers before 6 o'clock because you know what you're going to have to deal with later. It was more manual. The old system was, so you're actually hand scrubbing the kettles and stuff like that. And yeah, you may be done by 2 a.m. So
That's
good 20, 22-hour day.
That's tough.
Now with the new system, we can come in and we're done. I can get in here if I want to really push it. Get in here, wake up at 5 now. Get in here, had that first timer going at 7. And boom, Jacoby's done by 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Okay. That's a
Not
lot.
bad at all.
That's a lot better than 20 hours.
Yeah.
That's the whole.
Well, it's a good 16, 18-hour day. 16 hours, really.
I mean, that's still a lot of work. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. That's still,
it's not as, so that's more the process. And like knockouts can change. And knockouts is when you can't hit that right temperature because you can't pitch the yeast until the temperature's right.
Correct.
In the fermenter. So sometimes you do a knockout and like right now we struggle with the knockouts because it's so damn hot. So our hose heat up, they heat up going across the brewery, stuff like that. There's only so much that we can control. So we may knock out a beer, put it in the fermenter. We want to pitch at 72 degrees, but it's 76 degrees. So now we got to wait for it to cool down. before we put that yeast in there. Stuff like that happens. So the old system, just think about that. It was even more work. Yeah, more work.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're sitting there and you're like, okay, damn, we just knocked out at 80 degrees. We can't do anything. And that old system couldn't cool as fast as the new system. So you're sitting here, you're like, okay, well, let's go ahead and start the second batch. We'll pitch somewhere in that.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah. So, but the new system, there's just those other little things that we're still learning the new system. So we could get better at crunching an hour or two here and there.
And that's all the new equipment that you got here in the league, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got that back in the November of 2023.
No, I was gonna say I think it's 23. Yeah.
Was it 23? Yeah. We didn't fire it up and do the first beer until May of 24.
Okay.
Remember, it sat there for a long time.
Yeah, I remember it sat there for a minute.
That's the whole infrastructure. It's everything you have to do to make sure that,
It isn't for good.
electricity, 3-phase electricity. And so we went from natural gas to electric. We went from single glycol units to having to pipe it
Okay.
from a main system into the 4 new tanks. So all of that infrastructure just took a little bit of time and money. And it's just like, okay, what can we do right now? A little bit at a time.
Yeah, it wasn't just swapping out a silo and being like, "Yep, that's it," or
Right.
or
Yeah.
I mean, even though I was like, man, that sure is a fancy looking contraption right there. Like, well, I'm gonna have a beer on this one,
Yeah. And then you have to learn the new system. So you run through I call them, I call it a water test. It's really, I'm doing 2 things. I'm learning how things flow through the new system.
Okay.
In the old system, the manual part was we had to take tubing and connect it from one valve to the next. This one, all the valves are on a tree. You just had to open the valve, close the valve, and direct the beer whichever direction you want.
Well, that's pretty neat.
So what we do, to learn that, we would do what I call a water test. So we just put some nice 175-degree water in there. So at the same time, to me, we're cleaning the system too. We're running through it, we're cleaning it, we're getting out all those little nooks and crannies where stuff hides,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It's amazing what hides in those pipes.
Oh, plus with it being beer, it has to be completely sanitized.
Oh, yeah. So you're doing a water test, and then you're doing a caustic, which we're using hot caustic and stuff like that to kill everything and clean everything. And then you come back with a sanitizer after a rinse before and after. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, because making, something like whiskey, it's a lot easier of a process than beer.
Yeah.
A lot easier of a process.
Yeah.
So what do you say, like on the average, Railport, people coming in, how much beer would y'all normally go through in a weekend?
So we're doing roughly, let's see, there's 3 tanks out there right now. So we're doing roughly 900 gallons a week. That's pretty much, and that's, sometimes that might be just one beer, well, Honey Hush, or it's 2 or 3 different beers. And then like for Honey Hush, if we just do a small batch, we just do 150 gallons of Honey Hush.
Okay.
It's gone over the weekend.
I can see that.
That's just,
if you're selling 900 gallons, if you're going through 900 gallons, 150 gallons of fish ain't gonna do it.
So one of the things I love about our production, about what we've sort of basically created is any beer that I brew and keg package, it's gone in about 10 days to 2 weeks.
Wow.
So
That's not a bad problem to have.
no. Now it's smaller batches and stuff like that. Like even if we did a double batch of Honey Hush, we would still have to brew it 2 weeks later.
Just because it goes through,
Bach, Caboose Hop, some of the other top sellers, they may stick around for 3 weeks.
Okay.
We had to brew Bach yesterday. We had to brew Honey today, because we look up and it's like, oh, we had a good weekend, and
Yeah.
and you just have to adjust because you don't know when you're going to have that good weekend. You could plan for some things with some of our special events. You know about those.
Oh, absolutely.
But all of a sudden, you could have a weekend where it's like, damn, okay, that's awesome. Let me turn right around Monday, order ingredients, make sure they're here by Tuesday, and we'll be brewing Wednesday this beer. We'll bump something else out the schedule.
That's because, there's been times where, my wife and I will just be cruising around and on a Saturday. We're like, "Why we don't have nothing going on? Let's go check out. Let's see what's happening to Brew." And we show up and there is no parking anywhere. We're just like, "What in the hell is going on here? What's going on?" There's nothing. They're not even I mean, obviously we got live music on Saturday.
Yeah.
But I mean, it isn't someone like I've ever really heard of it.
Yeah,
It's just a regular Saturday and it's just packed.
Yes. And some of that is what may be, happening downtown, and there's a bleed over from that sometimes.
Sure.
Sometimes it's just that, like right now, people have been on vacation. We haven't seen them for a month. And then all of a sudden,
Everybody shows up.
10 families show up because they were all on vacation. And
Yep.
they're like, hey, we're coming back. It's like, okay, cool.
We need to be ready.
We got it.
We need to be ready. But, even, it's how everything is changing and how we were kind of talking about how this place has changed tremendously. I remember, how you were saying that, at the end of your first year open, you were open on Fridays.
Yeah.
And my wife and I would be here before we even knew anybody here. We would be here sitting in the corner in the tap room. And because at the time, there was only one door you can get in.
Yeah, it was that front door.
Front door.
Yeah.
And there was a little table right there. And I remember we would always sit there.
Yeah.
And we didn't know anybody. It was like, oh gosh, it was probably like that for shoots. I'd probably say like a year and a half. We didn't know anybody. And then I remember one time we went to pay and Shannon said my last name correctly.
Yeah.
She was like, Kolaluka. And I was like, oh God, this is so bad. Because first off, nobody says my name correctly.
Right.
And then on top of that, to know.
You turned right around and said, what?
I was like.
You were surprised.
I was like, oh no. It's like, everything is about to be so bad right now. Nothing has ever came positive with someone that I don't know knows my name. I was like, oh, this is so bad, but luckily it was just, they knew, y'all, Andrew, yeah, y'all grew up with Andrew. So that was a relief to say the least, but kind of funny, it was real funny. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. Even in Robin's space, how
do they know our name like that? How can they say that?
Yeah. Who are those people?
Small world.
But it's real neat because, after a couple of years, you met, obviously Christian, he started coming up and you got opened up on Thursdays, you met a Christian, we got here, and then before long, Germany, Ramona, she started, I think she was actually the first person to ever talk to us. And then it seems like after that, it's like the whole thing, at least for us, like everybody, we just met everyone and it does become like a family up here.
Yeah, that's one of the things and Shannon loves this. She's all about, just the community type aspect of it and people getting to know each other. And we've seen so many friendships develop,
Oh yeah.
Just, you would never think he's talking to him or she's talking to her, or just whole couples are like meet and they're like, oh, okay. And then, 3 weeks later they're back.
Yes.
Because they met just 3 weeks earlier and they're like, oh, let's go back to Railport and have fun, stuff like that. And it's just, and we hear all the people go to each other's birthday parties.
Yeah.
And stuff, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. And, even some of the musicians are like invited to places and stuff, it's just.
Josh Akar, he was just on the show. And we were over at Smitty's place for Smitty's birthday.
Yeah.
And, Ron, he had a get together, everybody from the brewery showed up there. We had a crawdad boil. Everybody showed up from the brewery. So it's like, man, it's kind of neat how everyone just kind of, everyone just kind of became almost like a family.
I just think it goes back to that, just that vibe and that just, I mean, we have a lounge.
Yeah.
Breweries don't have lounges.
No.
We have several lounges.
No, you have.
Where people can just sit down, feel at home.
Yeah.
The backyard feels like your backyard, even when it's hot.
Yeah, it makes it feel more like your backyard.
Exactly. But I mean, and just that, the background, you've got some music going on, we have people that get up from their table and 2 or 3 at a time so they can walk and talk, to go get another beer.
Yeah.
They're standing in line, they're just talking and chit-chatting and stuff like that. And they probably say something that, piques an ear from somebody else. The next thing you know, those people are sitting at their table, and it's just, that's the coolest part of this whole thing.
It really is.
It's really cool.
It really is. And you got Rodney, who's this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rodney. Throw him in the mix. The most interesting.
You got to throw some of them in the mix. Plus, I'm going to introduce you to someone tonight if he's still here.
Okay.
Yeah. Another. Yeah.
Oh, we got
another interesting man. Rodney a run for his money.
No, that's tough. I mean, Rodney, he showed up. He said, "Hey, I joined the military because they told me I could jump out of an airplane."
Yeah. Oh my god.
I mean, airplanes and LeBairs, that's a hard story to top right there.
Yeah.
But oh yeah. So, you know, are you talking about, you know, you got all different kinds of bits that coming. One thing that I would say that Deep Ellum did that, man, we loved more than anything is that they would have the homebrew competition, the Labor of Love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that'd be something like that would be awesome to see here. Cause I mean, obviously all the homebrewers, they're all going, you know, they love doing it because it was, gosh, I bet you'd be what, 100 plus homebrewers that would show up on Labor Day weekend.
It was big.
It was,
They would show up there Labor Day weekend, Labor of Love. The winner would have, Deep Ellum would basically brew their beer that next year.
yes.
Yeah. And, yeah, there was, back in the day, there was quite a few homebrew. You had the, Flower. There was one out in Fort Worth. You had one in Bishop Arts. And then you had the Luckapalooza, it over in Trinity Grove. So you had all of this different stuff going on, and yeah, to get something like that going would be pretty damn cool.
Oh yeah. I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, how cool would that be to have like this whole, you know, gosh, I mean, the whole Railport Holdings type area, and you just have it's just a big homebrew competition.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I think that'd be so cool to have, you know. Plus, you know, you sell your tickets, you do whatever, and then, you know, it was just so cool to see all those different beers. Plus, you got 100 different homebrews. You literally have 100 different beers that you're trying.
Yeah.
It was
That would be one heck of a sample event.
it was, we went to every single one.
I remember I went to one of them, and then my favorite was the one in Bishop Arts. I'm trying to remember what it was called. But it was down the streets of Bishop Arts.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was a big one. And I remember sampling Four Corners for the first time down there.
Oh, wow.
That's one of my favorites too.
Oh,
Dawn is one of my favorites. That's like so my favorite IPAs, you got El Chingon and you got Lagunitas.
okay.
Those are my two go-tos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Solid beers.
I love my IPAs, but those are the ones that, for years, mowing the lawn or something like that, it was a Lagunitas.
If you're not going to drink your own, you go, that's your go-to when you go somewhere.
And if I'm by the pool, it's El Chingon.
I understand. I understand. I love their Local Buzz.
Local Buzz is good. Yeah. Local Buzz. I mean, they're starting to bring back, so if people don't know, Four Corners was one of those established breweries, along with Deep Ellum, RAR, Community. Of course, Deep Ellum and RAR were here first, Peticolas. And they were bought by Corona, Celestial Brands and stuff, quite a few years ago. And it was moved over from the Trinity Grove area to the Cedars. Well, just in the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, the original owners came back and bought it back from Corona.
That's awesome.
It's badass.
Yeah.
And now they're slowly starting to reintroduce some of their original beers. So I can't wait for Block Party to come back, which is one of their original porters. It's one of the best porters around.
Yeah, that was good.
Someone just brought me Heart of Texas, their red ale.
Yeah, the red, yep.
And they're doing these at 16-ounce cans.
Oh.
So they've repackaged El Chingon. It's now in a black can. So
okay.
It's pretty badass. And then so I think they're gonna do six of their original beers. Outside of obviously Local Buzz, El Chingon, they have to, but so I can't wait for some of those to start coming out.
That's awesome. I will say they also had the coolest cans where like you would have the pop and the whole top would pop off. It's like actually drinking out of a can.
Yeah, people are like, why'd they get rid of that? Well, Corona bought them, and Corona said, hey, we're not paying for that.
Right. Hopefully they'll bring that back.
Those cans were, so when we did our little experiment with cans during COVID, I don't know if you remember, I originally had full open top can.
Yeah, I remember you saw it, and I was like, "That's what you need."
They were, was it 32 cents? They were 32 cents more than just your normal traditional.
Oh, I figured that actually would be cheaper because that's like the old style. That's like
their style because it was a niche thing.
Yeah,
they were more. The traditional ones were cheaper. You could get, they were manufactured more. There's more of them.
Okay,
that was just sort of a niche thing, to take the entire top off. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's like, you get that. You think of it being like old style, but I guess I could see that.
I think Four Corners turned that into like this new trendy bitch thing, and raise the price on everything.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, you're one of those Four Corners guys. Yeah, we're gonna raise the price up on you.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's pretty neat though. But and it's good to see them buy something like that because you hear about, uh, oh gosh, what is it, Revolver in Granbury?
Yeah.
They're shut down.
Yeah.
Like they don't, and that was a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And Deep Ellum, it's no longer there.
Yeah. Yeah, you got, I mean, there's some successful stories out there. There's some that are just like, man, at the end of the day, if someone comes in and, I mean, Monster Energy drink
Oh, for sure.
paid Deep Ellum there was a couple other breweries in that, wasn't just Deep Ellum. There was a couple other breweries, $333 million cash.
Oh,
It was a cash transaction.
I would, if it was me, and I'd be like, I love all you guys, but man, I'm gonna cash it out.
Yeah.
This is the American dream right here.
Yeah. And then, Revolver gets bought by Miller Coors. And here's the other thing. A lot of these breweries were purchased several times. Deep Ellum, when they were bought by Monster, that was their third pretty much sale.
Yes, exactly.
Their first was like 13 million, then their second was 90 million, and then they were part of this whole 333 million.
That is crazy.
I forget what Revolver was, but it was bought originally by Miller Coors, and then it was bought by this new Turpin out of, I think, Colorado or Utah, and that's more of a hemp type beer. So all they were doing was buying a brand, and now Blood and Honey is brewed in Colorado, just like Deep Ellum IPA and Dallas Blonde are brewed in Colorado.
That is wild.
And who knows what is going to happen to those facilities. There's nothing happening at Deep Ellum. They're trying to do some Saturday things down in Granbury at Revolver.
Okay.
They're like, that's not going to last much longer. People are just going to say, Blood and Honey's not brewed in Texas. Dallas Blonde is not brewed in Dallas.
Right.
That doesn't.
Well, Lone Star Beer, it got bought a long time ago, also, but it got bought by Pabst.
Yeah.
And so when people think they're buying the official beer in Texas, well, brother, that thing's made in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah.
So
the industry has changed.
It has changed.
It has really changed.
And then you go to Martin House, they got nothing but like 13 sour beers ready for you,
Yeah, the whole sour thing. Not going to do it. Sorry. We tried the seltzer. We have August Haze because we should have a hazy, but we didn't do the double dry hop type hazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it all comes back to drinkability.
Yeah.
And first of all, I don't have the tank space to sit there and do a one-off every week like Martin House, or at least twice a month.
Oh, I know. Every time I go to HEB, there's like all these different beers I've never seen. I'm like, man, these guys, it's like, but they're all sours. Cause I think you were the one who told me that once you put a sour beer in a tap line, it's strictly sour.
Well, so during COVID, there's actually now a new yeast strain. So the original sours, you're actually putting bacteria into that beer to get that sour taste. So you run the potential to contaminate your entire brew system.
Oh man,
that's why you would have sour houses. And Martin House would tell you they have certain equipment just for their sours, but they have to keep it separate from what they're brewing.
Because if you were to put your regular beer back in it, it's just going to
it'll take one employee to go over there and grab the wrong hose off the, something hanging over here that's supposed to be sour. Grab it, take it over here to this side of the house.
Oh,
and you got bacteria. Well, that's not as common anymore because during COVID, some new yeast strains came out that give the flour or the sour taste, but not the bacteria.
Okay.
I just don't want to brew something and have 150 or 300 gallons of it sit there for 2 months because people are coming in and just doing one drink and then going right back to Honey Hush or something.
I could see that.
It doesn't make sense.
Oh,
because in that 2 month time period, something could really go wrong with that beer.
Sure.
And I'm throwing it out.
Yes.
So that's the whole thing. I mean, I'm in the business, 1, for people to enjoy beer, 2, to sell the beer.
Yeah.
And the only struggle I have right now is making sure those people that like a certain beer, I can keep it on tap.
Okay.
Because that is a challenge, just because we are getting a little busy. We're more popular, and and people that come in and they like you love some bitch.
It's
you're one of about 300 people that love some bitch.
Yeah. Right.
We've only brewed that beer 3 times.
That's really.
Yeah, but that first time, it was a Christmas a year ago. We brewed it for the first time.
Yes.
And then, so no, we brewed it 4 times. So then we had to turn right around like 2 or 3 months later and brew it again because people were just like, what? It's like they forgot about every other beer we had.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
It's just like, damn. So we brewed it again. And then we brewed it because we wanted it to be a seasonal. We wanted it to be a winter beer around Christmas time. So we brewed it for the 3rd time. And then now I brewed it for the 4th time during our anniversary. That's why it's on tap for the anniversary.
Yep, on tap for the. That's right.
So now we've made the decision. Tender Mercy will be our seasonal stout for fall winter. Some Bitch will probably be more year round. It will be the seasonal for spring summer, but we will bring it back in the winter because we always brought it back for Christmas.
Man, you're playing with my emotions now.
So that will be. That'll be on tap more often. I'll say coming. It's coming.
The Some Bitch and the Triple have to hands down be that. Those are my beer.
Triple.
Beer.
Oh, yeah. That will stay seasonal because that's just such a hard freaking beer.
I can
pecans and
yes, I was gonna say the pecans that go in it. Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The ones that you see that are people you can almost buy triple all year long. Yeah, they're just so mashed.
And I think that's one that people sort of look forward to. Oh yes, that's sort of a cool thing, and it's like okay, yeah. So we still have those seasonals, the rotating, the year rounds. So yeah, we're still playing with all that.
So do you have any other kind of new types of beers you're going to be trying to make here in the future? Or?
Man, I have some ideas. We are doing one. It's a collaboration with Southern Roots. It's going to be a Mexican lager. It'll be out. Hopefully, well, it has to be out by the 22nd because that's the 175th birthday of Waxahachie.
Oh yeah,
so that's coming out. We're bringing back Waxahachie. It's a session IPA.
Yes.
We're going to bring it back. We're going to change a few things up because of what we learned with a couple of new hops. And then we have the Embarkment series that changes every time because we change the hop every time.
Okay.
So that'll be coming back with the Chinook hop. We'll be bringing back Cozy Marzen. The Marzen's coming back.
Oh, okay.
Because it's Oktoberfest.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's coming back. Then shortly after that will be the Triple.
Man, that's good stuff right there.
And
you gotta be careful when you drink the Triple here. They will sneak up on you. Yeah.
And I was looking at a chart the other day, and I was counting how many different styles of ales and lagers. I'm like, if we ever got on a kick to do a new beer every 1 to 2 weeks, we could fill up the whole year.
Wow.
So that might be a challenge one day.
Yeah.
Just to go in there. And some of them we already brew, so we'd knock those off the list. So maybe we wouldn't have to have something new every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks or at least a month. But, 12 new beers could come out next year based on those styles. Because a lot of them we haven't done.
Yeah.
The doubles, there's a lot on that list. There's some that I'm like looking at like, how do you do that? How do you, and they're either lagers or ales.
And I'll say so say like you got a beer like a Wiesenbach.
Yeah.
Where it's like a wheat beer and a Bock. Is it pretty much, are you making both those beers and just blend it, or is it like a totally different?
A lot of it we'll have to research the yeast, because if there's a yeast strain for it, that's going to make the big difference. The ingredients will be a little bit of each.
Okay.
But it's going to be that yeast that turns it into that style of beer.
Okay. See, I didn't know, like, whenever we go to, like, how you talk about the gentleman from Allstat, whenever we go and they have a Wiesenbach on tap normally all the time. And I didn't know if it was just because I got the, they got the Hefeweizen, they got a Bock, they literally just blend it and.
No, the true way to do it is to take, some aspects of the Bock, aspects of a wheat, and then a yeast strain that gives takes those characteristics.
Okay.
And basically says, okay, hey, this is the style of beer you're brewing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that is pretty much just pouring 2 taps into 1 cup. The same here.
Well, it's not like our blends that we have.
Like, right. Hey, you got some solid blends though.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, they're real good.
Customers have come up with some good stuff, man.
Yes, I still think that my favorite one so far is one that Christian and I came up with the Hand in the Honey.
Hand in Honey.
With the Honey Hush and the Triple.
Yeah.
Man, that's some good stuff.
And see, that's the other cool thing about bringing Triple back. It brings back Hand in the Honey.
Yes.
So it brings back those blends we get people excited. They come in here and there's Southern raised and honey. There's strawberry fields.
Yes.
So they're, oh my God, beer's back. Akeem, Ghost and Bach are on. That's his
Yeah.
blend. You
Yeah.
have all these blends. Normally we have the Hazy Morgan, the Rustler,
Yeah, but I said the Rustler's a big
honey hop, those things like that. Yeah, because we always have honey, caboose, Bach.
Sure.
Those are our top 3 sellers. So yeah, but yeah, those other ones, when people get excited when they see them on the board.
Oh, I know, my eyes light up.
Yeah,
It's like like a kid at a candy store.
yeah.
So, man, before we close out here, is your favorite beer?
My favorite beer.
That's like a type of beer. It's like, hey, I like say like for my sense, I love like my all-time favorite beer is the La Folie from New Belgium.
Okay,
So like, what would be Richard's number 1 beer?
it's Velvet Hammer
Really?
from Petit
Petit
Colas.
Colas.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's just hands down. That's my favorite beer.
Hey, that's
And then that's not a go-to beer or anything like that. But if I'm somewhere and there's Velvet Hammer,
You're
I'm
getting
drinking it. I'm drinking it.
heck yeah.
If I'm around the Dallas area driving around, I'm going to Petit Colas and picking up some Velvet Hammer to take home.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
That's awesome. So if you want to get on Richard's good side, show it with the case of Velvet Hammer. And
Yeah, there you go.
eat for a little bit.
there you go. Thank you.
All right. Well, Richard, man, thank you very much for doing it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, this was fun.
Yeah, we'll do it again next time.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, man.
All right, man.